Well, hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 58 and session number 12 of Ask Scott. This is where I answer your questions that you submit by voicemail, and I answer them here on an episode like this. And this is session number 12. So 12 weeks I've been doing this, 12 Fridays, that is. If you're brand new to the show, every single Friday, I answer questions from you, the TAS community. And I do this because I really like answering questions directly. And I like feeling as though we're just sitting around talking about this stuff and we're just shooting out ideas and giving advice and, you know, kind of what I would do in this situation. That's really what it is. And let me just say that not everything that I suggest is definitely going to work or is right. It's something to try or something that I would be doing. So I kind of put myself in that particular situation, and then I give you what I would try to do or my next move, what that would be. Before we do get going here, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our TAS community members, one of our really motivated and just someone that is out there doing this thing. They're making it happen, right? And they're sharing it inside of the TAS community, which is awesome because that's what we want to do here is we want to share those little mini victories. And that's what I want to do here is I want to highlight that on this show because I think it's motivating. I think it's inspiring. And it goes to show you that, this thing can happen. This stuff works. And you know what? It might not work the first time. It might take a few tries to get it right or before you pick that product or you have a product that's kind of, being stubborn. It doesn't want to move. These things right here just get you inspired and kind of get you fueled up to take the next step. So here's the shout out. Lance Holiday. I want to thank you for submitting this, but this is what he said. Finally hit my first 20 units sold day. Exclamation point. And then he put in brackets, my wife is asleep, so I needed to tell someone who understands. And that's what I want to say here. Lance went over directly to our group and shared it. And he had a ton of comments and a ton of people saying, congratulations, that's awesome. So happy for you. All of that stuff. Over 240 likes. And this is just 10 hours ago. I'm reading this 10 hours after it was published and over 240 likes already. Tons and tons of comments and just really enjoying that feeling for him. And then when it's your turn, everyone will be there for you as well. So if you are not part of that group and you're listening, you're probably going to want to be a part of that group. It's totally free. It's an extension of the podcast. And you can head over there to theamazingseller.com/F as in Frank, B as in boy, or Facebook. That's what it stands for. And go over there and you'll have to request to be accepted. And then usually within a few hours, you will be. Let me just point something else out on that group. There's been, a few spam complaints lately. And if you see something that you feel is a promotion of some kind, or someone's just kind of trying to go in there and, promote their stuff, go ahead and just hit that report button, and then we'll get it over here on our end, and then we'll ban that member. And we've done that. We usually get 1 or 2 a day, actually, at this rate, because we have over 5,000 members in there right now. But that'll just keep the group cleaned up, and we won't have to worry about that stuff, okay? So I'm really adamant about that. One other thing I want to do here is I want to give a shout out to one of our iTunes listeners because, again, I like to reward the ones and kind of acknowledge the ones that actually take that extra step. And it means a lot to me to have all of you on the Facebook group listening to this podcast. I do it for you. I do it because I want to connect with all of you and kind of, again, like we just shared is, being able to come together and help and support each other. So this one came in from Tony Rovier, I think that is how you pronounce your name, and I apologize if I did a bad job. I probably did a bad job. Anyway, 5-star, and it says top-notch information. No fluff here, just meat, potatoes, and really practical information that will allow you to get an FBA business off the ground. Explanation point. Sweet and simple. And Tony, I really appreciate you doing that. And a bunch came in this week. And you know what? If you haven't left one and you wanted to go ahead and show a little support for the show, I would really appreciate it if you do that. Just take a few seconds, go over there, leave us one of your reviews or your ratings, and that would really help promote the show. I really would appreciate it. The other thing I want to mention too real quick is we are doing another workshop this week. So depending on when you are listening to this, it will either, I won't give you the exact date because it's going to kind of fluctuate. It could be a Wednesday, it could be a Thursday. But what you're going to want to do is head over to theamazingseller.com/workshop. And from there, you can see when the next workshop will be. And what this basically is an entire at least 60 minutes where I actually take you through the 5 phases of putting this business together step by step, just like I've done in the past episodes, but I really just kind of break it down and condense it. And then I also answer live Q&A for anyone that's on it live. There's usually no replays, so you're going to want to show up to these live. And this way here, we can go ahead and answer any questions at the end. And we usually stay on for at least a half hour to 45 minutes. And I've actually stayed on as long as an extra hour because I like to answer as many as I can. So if you want to be a part of that, head over to theamazingseller.com/workshop. All right, so now let's dive into the first question, and then I'll go ahead and give you my answer. And again, I'm going to expound on these and kind of put you in the mindset of what I would do if I was in this situation. So let's go ahead and listen to the first question, and I'll give you my answer.
Hi, Scott. It's Phil from the UK here. Love your podcast. Finding it really, really, really helpful. Covering lots of topics and just giving really straightforward answers, which is exactly what we want to hear. I've just got a quick question for you. I'm based in the UK, as you can probably tell from my accent, and you talked about sending products to friends and family to get unverified reviews at the start, to get the stars up. The only problem being is that we can't do that if we're in the UK, because I'm guessing that for anyone to leave a review, they need to have an Amazon.com account. So apart from using Thomason for product giveaways and getting reviews that way, have you got any recommendations as to how else we can get reviews at the very start? Thanks very much, and keep up the good work. Cheers.
Hey, Phil, thank you so much for your question, and thanks so much for tuning in from the UK. And I love the accent, by the way. I love the UK accent. Really, really cool. You guys sound really smart, by the way. I've always said that. Anyway, I've got some thoughts on this, and I would like to direct anyone that is selling in the UK to go back to episode number 21, where I interviewed Rich Turnbull. And really, really knowledgeable guy. He actually, when I interviewed him, was looking to do some type of meetup or, kind of like a hangout in the UK, actually, where he's from. He gave the city and all that stuff. But if you head over to that post, he's there. He's available. He actually gives some tips as far as what he does for a follow-up sequence. He gives what he does for people that ask for a refund and how he can get some information from them. It's just, he's a really, really intelligent guy, and he's doing really well. And he's selling from the UK in the US market of Amazon.com. Now, he would probably be one too that you'd want to ask about this particular question. But my first thoughts are this, is what you really need to do is not necessarily just give it to people that are in your country. You can reach out to people now with the internet. It's so darn easy. I mean, there's a ton of Facebook review groups out there, and I'm only thinking that you need a handful to get started, really. Really just 4 or 5 would be fine to get started. So wherever you can get them, Facebook review groups are great. I've actually put together a list of a couple of different review groups that I feel as though are reputable, and I believe currently they're free still. I'll leave them in the show notes to this episode. But the other thing that you can do is you can do things like you said, Thomason. I think that's a perfect way to do it, and I would concentrate on getting a base set of reviews there, because what you need to understand too is you're getting the base reviews. So this way here, you can start using pay-per-click and then start getting some organic sales and then start getting some organic or some natural reviews. And that'll happen naturally once you get that going. So that's really the reason why we're doing the reviews in the beginning, is so this way here we can start using the pay-per-click inside of Amazon. The other one I want to give a mention to, and I haven't mentioned this one yet, and I haven't personally tried it yet. I'm actually contemplating on my next launch or product that I'm going to release. I'm going to try this. The name of it is snagshout.com. And this one here it's really cool. It's actually brought to us by, and I have no affiliation with them as of yet. I do when I use one of their products, which is Feedback Genius. It's the creators of Feedback Genius, and they now have this program or this service that they call snagshout.com. So they're very reputable. I have a buddy of mine that met up with the developers and the actual owners of Feedback Genius and the whole seller metrics thing, and they're really good people, and they're out there in the long game term. As far as like they're out there building software for the long-term success of businesses, not just for grabbing some money now because they know you need a tool. So they're doing things on the up and up, and I would definitely check them out. I've talked to Jeff Cohen, who is also affiliated with them, really great guy. And as you guys know, as of right now, I'm not an affiliate for them. I may become one in the future just because I'm recommending them all the time. And you know what? A little bit of coffee money would be nice. But right now, I'm not an affiliate for any of these. So I'd still recommend them highly. Feedback Genius is the Amazon review platform where they'll actually connect an API into your account. And then Snagshout is a service that connects you with people that want to review products. And I'm not sure exactly the cost, but I know it does cost. But in the beginning, even if you spend $100, $200 to get a base set of reviews, it's going to be worth it. All right. So that is going to answer that question. Thank you again for the question. And, like I said, go and head over to Rich Turnbull's interview that I did with him, number 21. So it'll be theamazingseller.com/21. And you can listen to that interview, and you can also reach out to him and maybe ask him a few questions about what you could do because you're from the UK. He's from the UK. He can kind of give you a heads up on what he's done in the past. All right. So that's going to wrap up this question. Let's go ahead and listen to the next one, and I'll give you my answer.
Hey, Scott. Rob Gleichenhaus here from sunny South Florida. My question for you is about PPC campaigns. I'm currently outbidding everybody on my main keyword. However, my positioning on the first page is at the bottom in the second position. Is there anything that I could do to improve on that positioning? Do you know anything about an algorithm or anything like that? It's just really frustrating. I've set my budgets pretty high, and I'm not even coming anywhere near near what I want to spend, even though my campaigns are doing great, my CPA is really low, my ACOS is right where I want it to be. I just can't spend enough money, and it's really, really frustrating. I know that if I can get into that top position and I'm bidding high enough to get there, the clicks will be there, and subsequently my sales will follow. Anything you have to say on the topic would be greatly appreciated. Talk to you soon.
Hey, Rob from sunny Florida. Thank you so much for your question, and it's a good one, and I love talking about pay-per-click. There's a few things that could be going on here, and it's really hard to say exactly without knowing all of the details, right, about it, but I do have some thoughts, and I'm going to share them with you right now and with everyone listening that may be battling with this exact situation. First off, if you're pushing your budget up to where you're willing to spend $5 a click, let's say, or $6 a click, just to see if you can get ranked to the top of the search. Now, we're talking the paid search. We're talking about the right-hand side or the top of the bottom of the page. If that's what we're talking about, I don't want people to misunderstand this and think that we're talking about organic search, which is in the main search, area. We're talking about the pay-per-click side. So when you want to get on first page on the pay-per-click side, you want to, increase your bid. And what you can do, there's a couple different ways that you can do this, is you can continually increase your bid until you find that you get there. And it usually registers within a few minutes, usually within 10 or 15 minutes. You can see if what you've done pushes you to the top. Now, and I'll be talking about this in other episodes because there's some other things that I'm testing right now as far as other campaigns and just kind of trying to find the low-hanging fruit and then bringing it up to where you're starting to get more of the higher end stuff, but the stuff that converts, whole nother topic. But what I would say here is that I think that as long as you are maxing out that budget, your CPC, your cost per click, then from there I would start to think it might be a relevancy issue. Okay, then I would start looking at, okay, this keyword that I'm targeting that I'm not ranking high enough for, is it because that I don't have that in my listing somewhere or that it's not relevant to my listing? So that's one of the second things I guess I would look at. The first thing I would look at is how much I'm bidding. Is am I bidding enough? And if I am, then all of a sudden now I got to look at, okay, why am I still not? And that could be a relevancy issue. The other thing it could be is a lower conversion rate. So if you've sent 100 people there and you only converted, one person, that's 1% conversion. That's very low. Maybe your competitors are sending 100 people to their listing and they're getting a 10% conversion. So they're going to show up more even though you're willing to spend more. These are just, again, hypothetical things, but these are the things that I would be thinking about. So, and again, I wouldn't bank on just one or two keywords. I would then, do this stuff that you're doing, but then I would start looking at the low-hanging fruit. I would start looking at expanding my keywords. So this way here I can find ones that, they're not as competitive and I don't have to work as hard for. So that's my thoughts, and again, you may already be doing these things and you may have already thought of these things. I don't really know because you didn't say that if you did, but I'm just thinking that if you haven't, thought of these, then you really need to consider these. And I think relevancy is becoming more and more important. And it's something that I think we all need to consider. If you're bidding on a keyword and it's nowhere to be found in your listing, it's not going to be relevant. You're not going to show, no matter how much money you throw at it. So those are some things I would think about to look at, and I hope this has helped you. Please report back and let me know, whether it's on the blog, email me, or even just leave another voicemail. Maybe we can do an update to this to see if what you've done has improved it. All right. So, and again, everyone listening, I'm going to be sharing some of this stuff coming up too, some of the tests that I'm running right now, and maybe we can kind of see what's working and what's not. All right. So let's go ahead and listen to another question, and I'll give you my answer.
Hey, Scott. My name's Alex. I've spoken with you a couple of times through email. I just want to say thanks very much for putting on this podcast. I listen to it every day to the office and back from the office, and every chance I get while driving in my car. I've been doing private label FBA for about 6 months now. It's going very well. We're in the process of designing products number 2 and 3. And I've built a couple of tools that I use to analyze my sponsored ads campaigns, and in the process of designing a couple of other tools to help me with my business as well. My question for you today is, how do you analyze the trends on your particular product and the trends in your market or in your niche? So what I'm looking for is if your particular product is trending up or trending down in terms of its discoverability and buyability, what factors you looked for on your reports, and then if you determine that you are trending down, what do you do about it? Thanks, Scott. Keep up the great work.
Hey, Alex, thanks for the question and congratulations on the success that you've had so far. I think that's great. It sounds like you're a software developer too, so congrats on that. Yeah, and the one thing that you touched on, which I'm really, really looking to, hopefully have a solution to this, and maybe you do have one or someone listening does, but to be able to have some type of third-party software connect to your pay-per-click and then be able to show your daily, stuff that's working more organized rather than just the Seller Central look. I just find it, and a lot of people that I know find it just very, I guess, clunky. It doesn't give you a lot of data points. It doesn't give you any of that stuff. So if you do have something like that, please share it with me. And if it's ready for release, maybe we can do a beta group, whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here, but I'm definitely interested in that because I think that would be very helpful for those of us that are really, really in tune with the pay-per-click and really want to expand and grow that because we know how powerful it is. But to answer your question about trends and trending, I mean, I'm really simple with that. I use 2 different tools to look at that. And in the beginning, I look at these 2 tools and I also go back to it, but a little common sense needs to tell you if you feel like something is a trend, like a trend that's going to be like Garcinia Cambogia, where it's like, something that's going to hit because Dr. Oz mentioned it, and then all of a sudden it's going to kind of trickle out. Yeah, you can capitalize on that for the time being, but then it's not a long-term play. So what I usually do is I use like camelcamelcamel.com, And I use that because it shows me like if something has been selling for a long period of time. I like to see a product that's been selling longer than a year, because then that gives me the 12 months worth of data. It shows me if there's been ups and downs, because I look at the BSR. And again, the BSR can be manipulated by, running promotions, but I take that in consideration. But that's one tool that I would look at a glance to kind of give you an overview. The second thing is just Google Trends. I look at that pretty much before I even pick a product, and I want to make sure that it's not a seasonal item. I just don't want a seasonal item that's going to be like winter gloves, right? And it's going to be good for 3 or 4 months, and then all of a sudden it's going to die out. Now, if there's a trend that has an upward, lift, and then all of a sudden it comes back down to normal, I'm okay with that. And I've talked about that before, because that's almost like getting a little boost for your year in sales. But if you're still, like, for example, if you can find a product that's doing 10 sales or 15 sales a day religiously, right, automatically on autopilot, and then you find that there's like 3 months out of the year that it spikes and goes up to 30, 40 because it's more popular that time, but then when it comes back down, it's still going to maintain the 10 or 15 sales a day, I would definitely look at that as being a viable product. But from what you're asking, I believe, is there any way that I look at trends, even with current products, to see maybe why they're tailing up or why they're tailing down? And there really isn't. I kind of do that beforehand. And I also kind of look at my own gut feeling, and I say, do I think this is something that's a fad? Is this something that's going to be here and gone tomorrow or in the next 12 months? And then I look at the Google Trends, and I think that stuff right there alone is enough to really give you that. And moving forward, yes, there's going to be some products that might fizzle out a little bit, but if they can fizzle out to where they're still bringing in 5-10 sales a day, then to me, it's still a winner, because it's on auto pilot in a sense, where you just have to replenish your inventory. And my mindset has changed a little bit since I've started this business. It was at first where I wanted to find a product that could get 20 sales per day. I've since changed that to where I'm happy with 10 sales a day. It's something I call the 10 by 10 by 1, where you have 10 sales a day, $10 profit, and then $10 profit per product, that is, and then one product. And if you can do that, that's $100 profit per day, and you can multiply that over as many products as you want. It's just an easier thing to go after, and it's also setting the bar to where you can probably accomplish that, but you're probably going to be surprised when you see that all of a sudden when you start developing a product line, that 10 sale a day product is going to turn into a 15 or 20 or 30 sale per day. So that's just, again, I'm going off on a little bit of a rant there, but it's really about trends. I don't really focus too much after the fact. I look more of before the fact. All right, so I hope that's answered your question. And hey, hit me up if you do have something that can connect with an API, or of something, and we can go ahead and share that, because I think that's really, really something that this market is missing. And I think it would be a huge component to be able to look at your pay-per-click in Amazon with more detail, and being able to set up more micro campaigns and having it more organized, so you can kind of look at the data. All right, so thanks for the question, and we're going to go ahead and listen to another question, and I'll give you my answer.
Hey Scott, my name is Costa, and I really appreciate the show. Just a quick question. I was wondering where the best place online is to get digital product photos rendered, or made up, really. So like the 3D, really high quality digital renderings of a photo. Really appreciate if you could point me in the right direction there. Again, thanks for all you're doing.
Hey, Costa, thanks so much for the question. And it's a great question because images are very, very important. And you guys have heard me talk about this before. If you're looking to, get your conversions higher, images are definitely something that you should be testing and tweaking. The main image, that is, by the way. Yes, your second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Those are all very important as well. And there's a lot of different things you can do, but the main image really is one of the main converters as far as getting people to click on your listing. And then once they click on your listing, then your title, your bullet points, all that stuff. But anyway, to answer your question, 3D models, if your product supports that, some products don't. I've gotten one done in particular through Fiverr. So you can just find someone on Fiverr. Just look up 3D renders or rendering, and then you can find a bunch there. Or even just look up Amazon product or Amazon images or product images, any of that stuff in Fiverr as you're searching, and you'll find a bunch. And then you can look at their reviews just like you would in Amazon, and then you can find someone there. The other way that you could find someone would be just going to Odesk, or now is Upwork.com. So it used to be Odesk.com. Now it's Upwork.com. That particular one will also, or that particular site is where you can actually put a request in to all different designers. It's not just for designers. It's actually finding someone that if you wanted someone to build you a website or any of that stuff, it's basically where they'll do, you'll hire a virtual assistant in a sense, to where they're going to do a project for you. So you can hire them per job. And the cool thing about it is then they'll bid on the job. So you put up the job description, and then a whole bunch of different designers will come in, and then they'll bid on it. And then from there, you can go ahead and hire someone. You can look at their work. You can ask them to send in a sample, whatever. So that's a good site. I've used them before. The other one, a little bit more expensive, but I know they do really good work, is 99designs.com. That's another one. And same idea where you put up what you want, and you'll have a bunch of designers, and they'll go ahead and actually create the artwork, and then they'll go ahead and have you pick one. And then whoever you pick, that's the one that gets paid. And you can have multiple, revisions and all that stuff. I know they're more expensive, but definitely you're going to get better quality, I believe. And then the other one is if you needed product images themselves not being 3D rendered in a sense. And this one here, I just kind of came to me from one of our classmates in our private label classroom. It's upgradedimages.com. And that one there, they do a really good job. Their website looks really good. And from what I'm hearing, everyone that's been using them is really, really happy. And they'll make sure you're happy. So they'll do revisions and all that stuff. So that one there is upgradedimages.com. And I'll leave the links to these in the show notes to this particular episode. So that's my thoughts on that. It's really, really important. It is. And I don't think that you should cut corners on this. Now, Fiverr is $5, right? Usually it's $5. And for those of you that don't know about Fiverr, Fiverr is another place you can just go, and for $5, people will do a job for you. Usually, the job is very small. So in this case, for you and for me, when I had mine done, it cost me about $35 to $40 because I had to buy multiple gigs, as they call them. It's a Fiverr gig. And then from there, I just... I paid I think it was $35 or $40. And then from there, they submitted the artwork to me. And then the cool thing with this guy was too, is, and a lot of them do this, where they'll go ahead and do revisions for you until you're happy. And you don't really pay. You don't actually, you pay, it gets held in escrow. And then from there, you have to say that it's up to your standards and that you approve it. And then from there, they'll get the money. Again, it works on the review system. So it's a great place to be protected, because now if you're not happy, they're going to make sure you're happy, because they want to get that 5-star review for Fiverr, because they know if they do, they're going to get more gigs, and the more gigs they get, the more money they're going to make, and so on. So it works the same as Amazon does as far as reviews. So those are the ones: Fiverr.com, 99designs.com, Upwork.com, or Odesk.com. They're both the same. And then upgradedimages.com. So those are some resources for you. So I think we got time for one more question. Let's go ahead and listen to that. I'll give you my answer, and then we'll go ahead and we'll close this baby down.
Hi, Scott. My name is Kay Hill. First of all, I want to thank you for your podcast and the information and knowledge that you've been sharing thus far. As you can see, we all appreciate it and encourage you to keep up the good work. I do have a quick question that has been on my mind as of late, and want to get some feedback, some thoughts from other Amazon sellers like yourself. I have a product on Amazon that I sell. I designed it based off of a modification of existing product, and it's been selling for some months now, and I've sold several hundred units. However, I'm noticing that negative feedback is showing up that's beginning to outweigh the positive feedback. And I'm a little concerned about that. I am familiar with paying for reviews and sending out free product for reviews, but I really am am torn about going that route because I want the natural feedback. I want the honest feedback from actual users and not people that I'm just giving a promotion to, because it's a tool that I've developed and I want to make it better. However, I'm concerned about the negative reviews growing and that discouraging people from purchasing the product, even though I know that it has sold hundreds of times over and overall there's a lot of positive feedback on it. So I'm just wondering, what should I do to kind of offset the negative feedback that I'm starting to see show up on my listing? How do I combat that with staying true to my integrity of having natural, honest feedback? I do have Feedback Genius in place, and I do get responses where people enjoy the product, but the actual leaving the feedback on Amazon, it seems like more people are willing to leave a negative response as opposed to a positive response. So I'm just wondering what I can do about that. All right, thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing your response on the podcast. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hey, Kate, thanks so much for the question, and also thanks for the positive feedback. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to know that that this show is being enjoyed by everyone that's listening to us. I really, really do appreciate it. It makes me feel as though what I'm doing is making a difference, and that means a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in here. I do have some thoughts on this. It's a great question, by the way. And I know there's a lot of people probably feeling like this, or they're going to come across something similar to this. My first thought is, okay, number one, you're starting to get some negative reviews. Okay, so my first thought is, what are they saying? Okay, I want to listen to what they're saying, because what they're saying might be something you need to pay attention to. Maybe it's something that is a flaw inside of your product. You didn't really say if it was, but I would be listening to those. I would be taking each one of those and I would be reaching back out to those people and asking for more details, right? I'd be asking for more details, and I'd also tell them, no problem. We totally want to hear your feedback and your comments. We want to make this the best product, and your feedback is very important to us. We're going to go ahead and give you a refund, and just take care of you. That's really what you're trying to do here. A lot of times what'll happen is those people will want to be heard because they feel as though they're dealing with an individual, not just, someone, that's a big business. They want to actually talk to you. And if you do that, a lot of times they'll go ahead and they'll either up the review, they'll give you a better review, or they might even remove it. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I would want to see you do, if you're not already doing it, is switch to where you ask for feedback first versus going straight for the review. This works really well to build up your authority and your feedback score for your entire seller account, but it also will intercept any negative reviews. So this way here, you can contact them. And then from there, you can, if it's a product review that they're leaving on your feedback, you can usually have that removed from Amazon. Now, again, I wouldn't do this just to get rid of those. I would do it to intercept them. So this way here, you can communicate with them, because it's going to be a lot harder for you to get that review removed from them than it is for a feedback. And you're still going to get the intelligence that you want, because you do want this. Because if you're getting these legitimately, if you're getting these complaints and these negative reviews, you want to fix that. And that's a great way to fix your product. So this way here, it can become a better product. So I would definitely switch to where you're asking for feedback and then for reviews. Now, if you are not familiar with that strategy, I've outlined it way back in episode number 10. There's my email templates there and everything. If you have not listened to that, or anyone listening right now, you can head over to theamazingseller.com/10. And that's episode number 10. And it's where I basically outline exactly how I go about doing this. And this has worked really, really well for me. And a lot of the TAS community members have also said how well it's working for them. And I want to be totally crystal clear here. We're not doing this so this way here people can't leave a review. We want to only be able to intercept, so this way here we can have that conversation with them. And then we do have control that if it's someone just that didn't read the description or whatever that left you a negative review, it's going to help that, because Amazon does not want that on your feedback. you only want to address real concerns, right? People that have real, issues because the product is not doing what they thought it was going to do, or it's not described as it was, and then you need to fix that. So I would use this as a lesson to be able to then make your product listing and your product, better than it is currently. And again, this is a great way for you to be able to make your product even better. Now, the other thing is to kind of combat this is then you're going to want to get some really good reviews. And I know you said you don't want to buy any reviews, and I'm not saying that I would ever advise that. But what you could do is do a small giveaway of people for an honest review. And these people are signing up to review products. So yes, they're going to give you an honest review. Now, I would not do this unless I felt as though, my product was going to be getting, 4 and 5 star reviews. But if there's issues with your product because you learn these from your negative reviews, then I would fix that first before doing any type of giveaway. Because every time that you get a giveaway now or a sale through the giveaway, those reviews are going to go on top of your negative reviews. And even though the negative reviews are there, they're not going to be at the surface. And there's ways that you can go ahead now and kind of like hide them in a sense by putting good, fresh ones on top of them. So that is my long-winded answer. There's a few things that we're not sure of as far as your situation, but I think that this has really outlined it for anyone listening, especially if you've had negative reviews. And I wouldn't think about putting out a product, getting negative reviews, and then just ignoring them. I would think to look at those and see how you can then turn this into a positive thing. All right. Because even though you might have some negative reviews, getting more positive reviews will outweigh the negative. And, for the most part, Amazon and your customers know that there's going to be people that have issues with these certain products. Now, the other last thing that I would suggest doing is publicly going on these reviews and addressing the concern. And also stating that, we've sent you an email and we're more than happy to give you a full refund because we want you to be happy. So publicly, you're doing this too. So anyone that does read that negative review would also see that in return. All right. So I hope this has been helpful. Good luck to you. Maybe you can report back and let us know how it's helped you and kind of like the progress of this thing. But again, I want people to understand you're learning through this, right? And negative reviews are not always bad. They're good in a sense that it's going to give you some intelligence into your customer's mind. But setting this up as a feedback first and then a review is going to also help protect your reviews on your listing, and it's going to build up your authority on your ranking as I've outlined in episode 10. So again, that episode is theamazingseller.com/10. And like I said, there's some downloads there for you as well. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this session of Ask Scott. Once again, I want to thank everyone for submitting your questions. Keep them coming. You can do so by heading over to theamazingseller.com/ask. Again, that is theamazingseller.com/ask. And I'm receiving new ones every single day. What I do is I usually go from most recent to, the ones that are kind of like not the oldest, and I just kind of go in order. So this way here, I can kind of make sure that everyone is getting a chance to be heard. And I go through and then I listen to them, and then I'll pick the ones that I feel that are going to be best for the show that everyone's going to be able to learn from. All right. And then one other thing I want to mention real quick, if you have not attended one of our workshops, or even if you have and you wanted to attend another one, you can go ahead and sign up for that for an upcoming one. And that will be listed here at theamazingseller.com/workshop. And I really, really would love it if you guys would show up. We really enjoy. I say we. I have someone that helps me with these. His name is Chris Schaefer, and he's also a consultant for Amazon businesses and sellers. And he's really, really a smart guy. And we sit there and go through the entire process, and then from there at the end we answer live Q&A, and it's just a lot of fun. We have some prizes as well. So if you haven't joined us on one of them, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you already have been to one and you want to come again, you're more than welcome. All right, so that is going to wrap it up. Once again, I want to thank everyone. I really do appreciate it. And just remember, all right, I'm here for you. I believe in you, and I'm here rooting for you. And I know that you can do this. So I want you to go ahead and listen to these 2 words, and I want you to do this. Take action. Take care.